Alright guys, so let's talk about sortie spy missions and archon spy missions. Alright, so I have an idea that would make these specific spy missions a lot more enjoyable for everyone. Alright, so I think if you're in one of these spy missions and you fail the vault, you will die, the vault will reset, and someone else can come along and try the vault. If they fail, the same thing will happen to them. Alright? This would also help because the inexperienced player could then watch someone else do it and hopefully get a better understanding of what works and what doesn't. Alright? I think that would be a lot more beneficial. Alright? Uh, so to start off the conversation there, I'm going to show you guys a run I did with Ivara doing a Archon survival mission. Alright, it was really easy. I didn't, ever even set off one alarm. I had no struggles whatsoever. Alright, and I think, you know, especially for people that aren't good at spy missions, this would probably be a good choice for them. All right. Uh, Now, don't get me wrong. If you're like an expert at spy missions and that kind of stuff, then a typical frame that's built for that is going to work just fine. That playstyle doesn't fit me because I'm not an expert at spy missions. All right, so I do whatever works the best for me. This happens to be that. All right, so this is the build I use. All right, uh, for my spy missions. Now I have the helmet ability for auto hacking. That is great for Archon missions. All right, because those hacking terminals are atrocious. All right, horrible. I really wish they would rework those and make them not so bad. All right, but they're just really bad. All right, so let me go ahead and show you guys why Ivara, in my opinion, is the best spy frame, especially for newer players or people who need to learn more about the spy vaults. You know, just going in there and looking around, looking for different entrance, portals, different uh, vents that they didn't notice before. All right, uh, there a lot of vaults have multiple ways to get in, and there's also certain vaults where they look the same, but they're somewhat different. All right. So it's important to have a plan that distinguishes this vault from another one. So I know the vent that I was looking for, that is not here. So now I know exactly where I need to go from here. Right. That is what you would get with Ivara, because you would be able to take your time, go in there, look around, see what's what, all right, and get a better understanding of the layout of a lot of these vaults. Like, that's where the biggest problem comes into play, right? This would help you there. It would give you a lot more time to get familiar with your surroundings, all right? Prowl Augment. Ivara is able to bypass laser barriers and gains 25% movement speed. Now the movement speed, that doesn't really matter a whole lot because when you're in Prowl, you're going to be rolling everywhere. All right, so the movement speed doesn't really matter. What's important here is that you will be invisible and you will bypass all security alarms. All right, that means tripping hazards. That means cameras, because you'll be invisible anyways, but any type of laser that's like motion activated or anything like that, you can just walk right past it. They'll never know you were there. All right. So, if any of you guys uh are having trouble with spy missions, right? And you're joining these type of spy missions where you have to get all three of the vaults completed, right? And you're just constantly messing up the missions. Put in the comments and let me know what mastery rank you are, what frames you've tried to use. All right, give me some information there. All right, because it seems to happen so much that I think overall, like we need, like us veterans, like we need to take a much more hands-on approach here, right? Um, to start like helping you guys, right? So I think that's what I'm gonna start trying to do on my channel here, right? I want to actually start helping newer players or even players that have been playing for a long time but still have struggles with certain things, right? Because without a doubt, this game is very complicated. I mean, it has a lot of moving parts, and the game doesn't do a very good job of explaining itself. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I've been playing this thing for years. All right, a very, very long time. And as you could see there was a laser door. I'll go right past it. Then the other thing where I have the rolling guard, as you could see, almost every time I see an enemy, I try and roll to activate that, just in case they might, uh, start hitting me a lot. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a mission like this, because if I was to die right here, like that'd be the end of it. I wouldn't be able to do anymore. Which that's another thing with doing these. It would be a lot better if we could run these as a group. You know what I'm saying? Instead of, well, if you join a public match with this, it's probably going to fail. Like, your chances of success are going to be very low. Now, of course, that is anecdotal because I've only tried it a couple of times. I think the first time we had our Archon spy mission, I tried it on public just to see what would happen. It failed. I did it on solo. Uh, and then today we had it again, so I thought, well, I'll try it on public just to see what happens, right? Because really, we should be getting veterans doing these. But again, it failed, right? So then I went ahead and did it on solo, and then I got to thinking, like, a lot of these players, like, they just need uh, some better information, right? Like, that has to be what it is. So then I thought, why don't I just grab my Ivara, record some gameplay, show people how easy it is, right, to do this. And as you can see, I'm moving through the vault really quick. And that's where a lot of people was saying, like, oh, Ivara is so slow, it takes her forever. It does not take her forever, right? I mean, as you could see, that was, I think, pretty sure that was under 5 minutes, and we're already done. Uh, I didn't set off one alarm, um, and even if I was to start taking heavy damage, I have the rolling guard to get me out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, this is a lot easier, in my opinion. So y'all let me know what y'all think.